This is a good question. So let's talk a little bit more about the bishop thing that I mentioned in the Jodi Hildebrandt video. So what I'm talking about there is, I believe it's in the second episode of the series. Bobo Frankie says that they had to rush out to Jodi's house because Jodi woke up and there was a bunch of hooded shadows standing around her bed, and they were from the devil and they were trying to attack her. And then he goes on to basically say, which they've kind of edited quite cleverly, and he's trying to like distance himself a bit, but this is a regular occurrence. He basically says like the attacks got worse and she was seeing them everywhere. And as he's telling this story, which you guys, this is right around the time he says, "Oh, I've still got the picture of the devil's handprint on the glass." That ridiculous moment. As he's telling the story about he and Ruby having to rush out to rescue Jodi from this crisis, he says the bishop was called out as well. And they show a picture of the bishop, of the Mormon bishop, who comes out and he's got his hands on Jodi's shoulders. And Jodi's sitting there like crying, panicking because the devil's trying to attack her in her house. At that part in the story, Kevin says, yeah, she said she was seeing them everywhere. So this is like multiple times. He said, the bishop actually pulled me to the side and said, we can't keep doing this. And then Kevin then explains that, the bishop meant that, and starts talking about the devil and the handprint and all. He was like, so many crazy things were happening in the house. I think that what that bishop was really saying at that point, what Kevin recalls him saying with like, we can't keep doing this. I think he was basically saying, I can't keep coming out here for this hysterical woman who says she's seeing things and she's calling smudges on the glass the devil. But Kevin, who's like in this weird belief system, believing in like literal devil and all this kind of stuff, he took that opposite. Immediately when I heard that, like I was like, yeah, the bishop is sick of coming out, every other afternoon when he's trying to enjoy his coffee. And he's got to come and like lay hands on this crazy person, essentially, because Jodi was just like, it was escalating to that absolutely absurd of her like writhing in the floor and grabbing on Ruby and all that kind of stuff and making weird noises. It was absolutely absurd. But it also just goes to kind of show how these people will hear reality and then like just twist it to fit whatever they're in. It's everybody's saying brainwash. It's not brainwashing. It's egos. Like that's the whole thing. All this Mormon nonsense. It massages their egos in such a way that it makes each one of them feel like they're special above other people, their own little kind of god. They all get their own planets and all this kind of stuff. Unless you're a woman, yeah. It's all egocentric stuff. It's very twisted. It's very, very twisted. But yeah, I don't think the bishop was saying like we have to like get the Vatican out here. I think he was saying I'm not coming out here again. This is ridiculous.